What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loot Bros Podcast. I'm your host, Residentdarrell, and tonight I got the boys. They're back. We got, well, it's no longer No-Show Joe because he showed up. What's up, brother?
I am back and better than ever.
So have you been sick?
No, last week the last 2 weeks I just had commitments. 2 weeks ago I was sick.
Okay.
Last week I had a commitment that fell through at the last moment because my daughter got sick.
Dang.
But I didn't have time to be like, oh yeah, I'll jump on a show. It was a little too late at that point. And I was like, you know what? If my daughter's sick, might as well spend some time with her, spend some time with family. So
there you go. Be a good dad.
Yeah.
Do the thing. All right. And then we got the bearded nerd. What's up, Zach?
What's up?
There you go. Got that audio peaking. So
what's up?
All right. So, there's a handful of things we have to talk about when this show starts. But before I get into all that, this is the Loot Bros Podcast. This is your general video game, and sometimes we think we're funny podcasts. The end of the show, we have a very, very fun interview with the creators of Tales of Shock and Terror, a brand new comic book series that is currently on Kickstarter and is fully funded. I think it's about getting close to 300% as the time of this recording. I was able to sit down with Justin, Charles, and Ron, the three writers of the book. We had a excellent conversation. We talked about all kinds of stuff. We talked about comics. We talked about podcasting. We talked about films. We talked about music. I mean, each one of these guys was a creative in a different field, and it was awesome. They all had their own podcasts. One guy was an independent film director. One guy, all three of them are writers. One guy was in a band. It was awesome. So we had a really good time, an hour and 20-ish minutes of just some pretty cool stuff. And if you're not into any one of those things, but you're into a bunch of dudes making some pretty inappropriate jokes at each other and having some laughs, that's definitely a good show to check out and listen to. It was a lot of fun to have those guys on, and it was dope. So with that being said, we're going to start this show off with a toast and get into some of the good stuff. You guys ready?
Let's do it. Toast.
I think we should toast to the greatest wrestling company in the world.
That's right, AEW. None of us are going to be on Trophy Horse this week because of AEW. That is part of our toast. I want to toast to our Patreon producers. So for the month of March, we have El Presidente, the T-Bird. We've got Redbeard Rick, and we've got My Name is Effing Mayo, and then the returning CJ, the affectatious Sony Pony Donk.
Oh, so, the return!
Yeah, he is back. He is back in the fold. We are super excited and glad to have all of you guys supporting us here on the Patreon. And it is a season of fantastic video games. We've got so much stuff to play right now. We've got Horizon Forbidden West. We got Gran Turismo 7. We've got Elden Ring. We've got so much freaking stuff. We're getting ready to have Tokyo, whatever the freak it's called. I lost my train of thought all of a sudden when I tried to name it. Whatever that new Bethesda game is that's made by Shinji Mikami's group. So it's freaking dope. Lots of cool stuff. Let's toast it up.
Yeah!
Ooh, that was awesome. All right. Before we get into the show.
Oh, what you been drinking? What you drinking? What everybody drinking?
I'm just doing a nice ice cold Diet Coke.
Oh,
I have a lime carbonated water.
I have a hard Mountain Dew.
Oh, there you go.
You can actually go eat a big fat one. How about that?
Yeah, I had a
It's not that good.
I had my Monster earlier when I was doing the interview, so I got to tone it down a little bit so I can get a few minutes of sleep tonight. So
the review on the Mountain Dew Hard is it's a 6.5 out of 10, guys, and I'm sad to say that.
Yeah, but I can't even get it to give you another rating on it.
The Hard?
Yeah, it's alcoholic.
Yeah, alcoholic Mountain Dew. I would say that it's like drinking like regular Mountain Dew Baja Blast, but with like no carbonation. So kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, but the benefit of that is you can't taste the alcohol.
But it gets you drunk. So we went to this place called Craft and Draft today for brunch after our soccer games. Oh yeah, another thing to toast to. First game of the season, Team Galaxy, that's us. We won. Had an excellent freaking game. It wasn't a blowout or any kind of domination, but it was some of the best U12 soccer I've witnessed, or U9 soccer, excuse me. U12 was at the same time, but I actually coached U9 this season. It was awesome. My kids played so hard. All of them did great. Even the kids that I was a little worried about freaking showed up. We had an excellent game. And then afterwards, we celebrated, went to Craft and Draft, which, as you guys know, I don't drink, but this place had it was a really, really, really sweet little venue, restaurant rather. They had an entire wall of and it was the building wasn't wide, but it was very deep. It's in like a strip mall, and it's went on forever. But it was really cool. You go in and there's bar top places or whatever. Everything, they had a chef on site, so everything was prepared. It was very fresh ingredients. Most of the stuff was made in house. A few things not so much. But this wall of I guess not so much freezers, but refrigerators. But it was just essentially just glass refrigerators, I guess you would see in a supermarket. But it was all IPAs and various funky beers and different things like that. So it was very interesting. I've never seen anything like it. I don't tend to go to places like that. I've been to a few breweries and places like that to eat. And this place we were going for brunch, but it was very interesting just to see the various stuff out there. They had literally everything. It was mind blowing how many wild and just different types of beer there were. So it was pretty cool. So anyways, we went there, ate. They had a bunch of pinball machines in the back. So the kids and I played some pinball. Funny story, I've never played pinball with the kids before. My kids have never used a pinball machine before until today.
Interesting.
So it was a very nice outing. Hung out with Gagum Games and Gains Media, my brother. So we just ate some brunch, tried some new foods, played some pinball. So after soccer, so it was a very interesting, very fun afternoon. So, but this is the Loot Bros Podcast. We have a Patreon. Obviously, we just toasted to our patrons. Check it out. We got new content up there right now for the month of March. The Super Loot Bros episode was a Patreon pledge where I had to play Senran Kagura Peach Beach Splash. So that review is up there, as well as the deep dive. I jumped into Crossfire X. Now, last week, Zach and I sat down and we talked. We did some, Metacritic reviews, had some laughs, read some funny reviews. But for whatever reason, Crossfire was really on my brain. I was interested. Now, Zach, you played the Crossfire multiplayer, and brother, that is trash.
You see, people gotta understand that it is a CS:GO type shooter.
Oh, but it's so bad, and the graphics are so bad.
I mean, it's okay for what it is. I mean, it's free. I'm not going to complain about someone giving me something for free.
Oh, it's bad. Well, what's not free is you have to pay for the campaign for the game. And that is what Remedy created. And I was doing a little reading on it. It says it was a 2-hour long campaign. And since I've been neck deep in my studies for my MLO, I'm like, man, I need to play a video game. I hadn't played a video game all week long. So I was like, you know what? I can knock this out and maybe move some of the other Patreon content that I had lined up for later in the month, or maybe even into next month. So I decided I was going to sit there and do it. So I played a little bit of the multiplayer. It was awful. I think it is so much trash. I think it is absolute garbage. But then I jumped into the actual campaign, and that is what this month's deep dive is on. And I think I think it's very interesting. I think I would encourage people, if you're a patron, obviously give it a shot. If you're not a patron, we've got several months worth of content on there, multiple shows a month. So I think I would encourage you to go check it out. See if there is a tier there that you find interesting, and definitely check out some of these deep dives and reviews, because I think you'd be pleasantly surprised with what all we've offered. We've kind of changed. We try to do a bunch of different stuff. So there's a little bit of something for everybody. And Crossfire X is the latest on that list. So definitely check that out. Check out the YouTube. The YouTube has kind of slowed down. It's not growing like it was. So we only launched our YouTube. Well, I guess we relaunched the YouTube a few months back. you guys don't mind going and checking out Loot Bros Podcast. So we've got some good stuff on there as well. That's kind of all of the business. I don't have any new stuff coming out for the other shows. So, Zach, why don't you start us off with what all you've been playing?
So, been playing Apex as usual. Still trying to grind ranked, but I got challenged from Mr. CJ Anderson, the Sony Pony himself, to play the Outer Worlds. So yes. I actually started that.
Oh, cool.
What do you think of it so far?
Very, very New Vegas-esque. Feels very, very Fallout New Vegas-esque.
That's pretty cool. That's high praise. People love that game.
It's good. I'm enjoying it. For the most part, I don't really have don't really have any gripes about it yet. I mean, the graphics are kind of they're kind of Fallout graphics, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's all you got to say.
They're Fallout graphics, if that. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, it's about all I have been playing. We all know what Joe's been playing, but so we can just skip him this week.
No. Is that your official pass the mic to me?
Yeah.
All right, so I've been playing 2 games this week, or 3 games this week, because I did play things before I got GT7, and I'm technically not playing GT7 right now because I feel like I can't really concentrate on racing while I'm on a podcast. Shocker, I know.
You got to get a little closer to your mic, Joe.
I'm right up on it. I'm right up on it. There's something messed up with my gain tonight too. Yours too. Yours is reading really low too, Darrell.
It might just be that Zencastr is, not grabbing our audio the most elegantly. So
yeah, Zencastr sucks. What's new? So I've been playing 3 games this week. The first one I'll talk about is Gothic Arcanine, or I don't know how the fuck to pronounce this game. I don't speak English well, so it's all good. I didn't go to the Derek Zoolander school for people who speak words good.
There you go.
So this game is interesting. I got it for free, I think, during like one of those Humble Bundles, and it's a game.
High praise.
So the Gothic series apparently goes way back to like PS3 or PS2, and there's like tons of them. I've never played any of them, so I just put this game in one day, and I was like, let me check this out. So it plays kind of like Skyrim if Skyrim was janky and shitty and came out before Skyrim. So
I mean, Skyrim does play janky, but
no, this is like super jank. So the character models for all the NPCs look like the same guy, and it's just like reused animation. So like
they just reskin him a little bit.
Yeah, they just like change his hat and his like robe and stuff. And I'm like,
he's got a blue shirt.
I'm like, this guy is the same guy I just talked to 25 seconds ago. Like, there's no way this is not the same guy. And I was like, all right, this 1 point off for that. And
he's gonna break down the review the scale right there. If you reuse the same character model,
and then apparently like the quests, like the map marker's so bad that like the first quest I like walked around for 3 hours trying to figure out where the thing was, and then I was like, oh, the cave's right there. But like the map's just terrible map. It's a game I recommend for those who want to beat a game. Like I'm not even paying attention to the story. Like, I'm just pressing X and flying through it and just beating the missions. I think I'm about like 75% through the campaign now. Dang. And I'm only like level 16. So like now I'm fighting stuff that's like way higher level, but but my skills are so maxed out for like hand-to-hand combat that I'm like killing things in like 4 hits. So Dang. Yeah, it's like one of those games where like if you max out your skills, like kind of like Fallout, you can just manipulate the game even though like you're low level. So it's an interesting game. I'd say if you got it for free at any point or have it, check it out. It's okay.
What are you playing it on?
PS4.
Okay.
Well, PS5, but yeah, it's a PS4 game. So it's okay. It's okay. It's called Arcania. That's what it's called. I can read.
He went to school.
Words.
He did it.
I did it. Words. Other than that, I played Ys 8 on the Switch, and that is a really amazing RPG where you basically get like deserted on an island, and you have to collect all of the people that get deserted with you. You have to like save them, and then they can do special things like one becomes an apothecary, and then one becomes like your ability to do like lift heavy logs when you get like 8 people found, and when you get like 20 people you can lift even bigger rocks and stuff. So it's a pretty cool concept for a game. I'm really digging it. I'm about 7 or 8 hours in, and I'm loving this game. Like, it's probably one of the best RPGs I've played in a long time.
No.
I think TJ and JT have beaten this game in the past. So
okay, cool.
And then I played one more game before I got to the main event. I forgot that I played this, but I played it while I was downloading said game. So when you have to download a game or pre-download a game, or when you forget to pre-download the game because you pre-ordered it, and then you don't realize that, oh crap, I only have 4 hours before this game launches, and it takes 3 hours to download because it's such a massive game.
Yeah.
Dude, the game's 100 gigs.
Dang.
I was like, oh my god. Yeah, Gran Turismo 7's 100 gigs, by the way. Or
A lot of
95.
cars.
Yeah, it's a lot
to
of
start with.
Lots of stuff.
It's gonna be so much bigger.
Yeah, it's gonna be massive, dude. So I played Grand Theft Auto Vice City Remastered.
Nice.
And I have to say, it plays really well. It's janky as shit though, and like when you like hit people on the streets, they go like flying. Like the physics are all messed up in this game. Like I hit some guy on his motorcycle, and not only did he fly, but the motorcycle went like over a building and like off of like you couldn't see it anymore. It just kept going. And I was like, and then I hit somebody, and you know how like in the old games, like not like the new Grand Theft Autos where like you go through the windshield if you hit something. It's like, so my car like went flying backwards and did like 50 flips and turns and then just like landed and blew up. Like I didn't have time. It didn't like, you know how like it catches fire? It was catching fire while it was moving backwards and spinning.
Jeez.
So like I didn't have time to get out of it. It blew up like in midair before it stopped on the ground. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I should have captured the footage and put it on our Facebook page, but I totally forgot to do that.
Yeah, don't you love that?
Oh my god! But I was doing the stupid taxi cab trophy because it's only like I think it's like 20. It's only 25 people, so it was like
oh
really
wow,
easy.
the other one's 100.
No, it's 25 in Vice City. They dropped it.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and then I played Gran Turismo 7, the real racing simulator. Whew, man, how do I start this off? I'm a huge Gran Turismo fan. I really was disappointed with GT Sport, mainly because it was just an online racer. And while it was an immensely successful game as far as like the racing community goes, like I mean, Sony like sponsors like racers and now like across the world, and like people who are grand champions in the game are in this game, in the new game, as like tutorial guides, which I think is pretty friggin' rad. But man, this game just it's a love letter, and a love letter on the 25th anniversary of Gran Turismo. It's like everything you would want 25 years later in this game. It plays just like Gran Turismo 2 as far as like the scope and the concept and the you go and you get your license, and then you buy more cars. I will say, this is the first thing I'll say. Very, very first thing. This is my like ultimate like end all be all. Like, this is what the game is. If you guys like cars and you like Pokemon, Gran Turismo 7 is Pokemon for cars. You got to get them all. Like, that's literally the point of the game, is to collect all the cars in the world. Like, you literally have a collector level. Like, you don't have a driver level in this, so it's not like GT Sport where you have a driver level and everything you do contributes to your driver level. I miss that immensely. I love the driver level system. I thought it was the best thing in GT Sport, and I was hoping that they were going to carry it over into this game, but unfortunately they did not. So instead, you have a collector level. So every time you unlock a new car, you get points based on the rarity of the car. And then based on that, you level up. So like I'm like level 7 and I have like 18 cars, but I have like 3 supercars. So that's why my level's so high already. Like I unlocked one like supercar from like winning this one cup, and I got like 2 levels in one car, and I was like, holy shit. Because like I was like level 5 and all of a sudden I dropped to level 7. I was like, oh, this is crazy. hold the phone. But I have to say, like, the haptic feedback in this game, Darrell, just
It's good.
wow, dude. Wow. You can feel the difference in every car. Like, you can feel it when you brake and when you press the gas. You can feel how different the cars handle. When you go over a bump, you can feel the bumps.
That's
It's
awesome.
just so cool, dude. It's like people play with Thrustmaster wheels and stuff like that, but like I'm just happy playing my controller. Like it's just an amazing experience. And I know like people were telling me like, oh, it's janky as far as like the people look really ugly and stuff. And I'm like, are we really there for the people, like the spectators? Like, are we caring about that, or are we caring about the racing and the driving, which is very smooth and well put together? And I feel like this is the easiest game to learn how to play if you've never played a racing game or you're new to Gran Turismo. It has tutorials built into everything you do. And the main campaign is really like a kind of tutorial in a sense where you do these things called menus now, guys. So you'll go to like the Gran Turismo Cafe, which is like you have like a world map, and then you have like your your license is your world circuits, your garage, your tuning shop, Brand Central where you can buy new cars, and then there's this new feature called Cafe Menu, or the Cafe, Gran Turismo Cafe. And when you go to the cafe, you speak to like these different guys, and they give you missions basically. And like they can be as simple as like, collect these 3 cars and come back to me. And then it tells you all about the cars you just collected in like detail. Like it does like a cinematic. And it's like this car was created in this year, and this is the importance of it. Or this is what FF cars, like front front engine cars, like these are what they are, and this is why they're important, and this is what they've done for racing, and these are the first racing cars, yada yada yada. But I just, as a car person, like a person who loves cars, and that was instilled in me when I was a little kid by my father, like I love this game. It's absolutely phenomenal. I have to say, like, I got into a mission where it was like, upgrade your car to 400 plus PP, which is like your kind of like your performance points for your car. So every time you like upgrade something in your car, your performance points go up based on the upgrades in your car. So instead of having like horsepower requirements and stuff like that, everything has PP requirements in this one and country requirements. So like I was going to a race right before we started where like I just maxed out this dope ass car and wasted a lot of my money. And then they're like, oh yeah, you can't take this car here because it's not from Europe. And I was like, motherfuckers. So I had to go get another car and grind for like 3 hours to get enough money to upgrade a car that I could go there with. So I love the rinse and repeat grind of Gran Turismo. I know it's not for everybody, but as someone who loves racing games and loves simulation racing, I'm going to play this for a long time. And the online trophies aren't too bad for those like interested. Like I think it's play 50 online races. You don't have to win any. And it's also you have to drive a certain amount of distance playing online races, which will probably be more than 50 races, but nonetheless, I'm enjoying the game thoroughly. I've put about 7 or 8 hours into it. I have about 17 or 18 cars now, and I'm loving it, dude. There's simple trophies like buy an electric car. There's other trophies like buy a safety car. Buy a pickup truck was one of them. I just did that. So here's something for both of you. The game's on PS4 and PS5, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no playing the game twice. That's the only problem I see.
One trophy list.
No, Darrell. 2 trophy lists. But it's just like Dying Light, where everything is cross progression. Because you only have one account because it's linked to your Sony account. So when you put the PS4 version in, I was like, all right, here we go. I'll just, I'll just play it with no cars. I'll see how it is. And it just booted up everything from my PS5 save.
Huh.
Because the game's always online, because it has to find your account. That's another downfall with this game that I don't like. It's an always online game, meaning that if their servers go down or Sony servers go down, you can't play the game at all. The only thing you can play is arcade races, and they don't even count for anything.
Sounds like you don't own the game.
That's the modern age, man.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the age we live in.
Yeah, but the problem is you bought the game. It's not like it's not like a streaming service,
I mean, I bought a digital copy too, though, so like it's not like I own it anyway. Like I know what I'm getting into when I buy digital. The problem is my impatient ass doesn't want to wait till 9 o'clock when the store opens the next morning. I want to play it at midnight. Same thing with WWE.
I feel that.
Dude, I spent $100 on WWE.
Yeah, you got the digital deluxe, so that way you could play it 3 days earlier.
Yeah, like a dumbass. Even though, like, do I really need to play it 3 days earlier? I have Gran Turismo, probably not. But like, I have to play it on Tuesday. Have to, like, absolutely have to. I've waited 2 years for this damn game. Have to play it on Tuesday.
I heavily debated it.
I'm super psyched. Well,
no, I'm not doing it. I'm waiting.
It's either that or the $80 cross-gen bundle, Darrell.
No, it's you can pay $60 for it.
Well, if you do the $80 cross-gen bundle, you get the PS4 and the PS5 version.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait, dude. After being burnt so many years in a row, I'm gonna wait.
I was considering it, like heavily considering just waiting, and because my friends are getting it on Tuesday and see what they think. But I don't know. I just want to play it, and I know I'm gonna play it if it's janky anyway because it's WWE. And
I did the same thing, man. I played all of them, and I get so mad. Like 2000, I hated 2015. In 2015, I said I'll never get another one. I bought 2016.
That's the one with Stone Cold on the cover, right?
Yeah, Stone Cold on the cover. Yeah,
that was the first next gen one. Yeah, I remember that game. That game was just so janky because it was just the first next gen one. Like everything was bare bones.
Yeah, and then I played 2016. 2017 was okay. The one with Brock on the front.
17 and 19 are great.
Yeah, 18 was awful, dude. I hated 18.
That's why they changed everything in 19, and they got everything perfect in 19, and then they fucked it all up in 20.
With 20, yep.
Like, oh, the only thing I really don't like about 22, if you haven't watched, is that it's very dated. Like all the models for all the characters are like 12 months old. Like literally, I don't even understand how this is possible. But it might have been because they had to do so much production on pulling all the guys out of the game that got fired, like that Vince like wouldn't approve. Like I guess there was an interview with one of the guys saying like the only rules were if you got fired from the company for unlawful like for a reason other than being released, or if you got released and you signed with another company, you couldn't be in the game. The only exception was Keith Lee and Jeff Hardy, I think, because they didn't sign officially or weren't going to sign with anybody up until the game went gold. They couldn't do anything.
I got you.
But they could probably still just remove them if they wanted to.
Yeah, they probably could.
I don't think they're going to. It'd be really fucked if they remove Keith Lee because I love Keith Lee and I can't wait to play as him. I was actually mad that like you don't get Adam Cole this year and stuff like that. You can't. But I mean, with Community Creations, you can recreate all that stuff anyway.
Oh, they'll be in there the first week. Yeah.
Dude, it's gonna be crazy, Darrell. With the creations being combined this year, like it's cross-platform creation studio now.
Yeah.
So like all the best creators usually create on Xbox. If you didn't know that. So
I play on both.
So now we get all those.
Yeah, I play on both. So I've always downloaded on both platforms. Just
Yeah, now we get them on both though, which is pretty sweet. I'm excited to see what they pull off. I'm just mad there's only 100 creator slots though, because like if you download everybody from AEW and like all the people that are missing from WWE, that's like 100 right there.
Yeah,
I hate how they only let you do 20 downloads a day.
I don't know if they're doing that.
That was a Ukes thing.
I don't know if they're doing that again this year. They haven't confirmed or denied it. I do know that they didn't touch universe mode like at all, which is kind of disappointing. Actually, they nerfed it kind of. They took out the promos, so you can't do those You can't put promos in your show anymore. Like it's only matches.
Yep, I finally got my first trophy.
Nice.
That's like my first trophy in 2 weeks.
That's facts.
Congratulations.
Oh man,
I remember my first beer.
So I guess we'll go into what I've been playing outside of what I've already mentioned, which is Crossfire X on the old Xbox.
I can't believe you finished it.
All right, guys, I'm going to patch this into the show. There's a section in here where we're talking about games. We're talking about Shadow Warrior 2, and I talk about Crossfire X a little bit, but like we had some audio issues, and I wasn't able to recover some of that conversation. So there is a bit of an abrupt jump where I go from Crossfire X into Shadow Warrior 2, which are the games that I'm playing. And you didn't really miss very much because most of everything is covered on the deep dive on our Patreon. So I would highly suggest and recommend and ask, hey guys, check out the Patreon, check out my Crossfire X review. And I'm going to jump right back into talking about Shadow Warrior 2. So with Shadow Warrior 2, I've owned it for a while, but I've never played it. And T-Bird, back when he was on the show, he talked about it. He played it, and he said that basically Shadow Warrior 2 is Shadow Warrior 1, but leaning more into the humor. And he said it's a very excellent game, and he's not wrong. So I started it a little before the show. I did some studying. I've been busting out my practice tests. I've been doing very well on them, feeling pretty good. I was like, you know what? I'll play a little bit of games before our interview. Knocked out the first 2 missions on Shadow Warrior 2, which are really essentially tutorial-ish. Like there's not a ton going on that's like detrimental to what you're going to be doing in the story. But it's hilarious. It leans more into the humor of Shadow Warrior. The open world. Well, I say it's open world. It's open areas. Like they're it feels open world because you've got like an indicator telling you where you need to go, but you can kind of go anywhere on the map, and there's tons of crap everywhere. So it's very fun. Like the combat's great. Like the weapons are great. I'm having an absolute blast. I've got a freaking chainsaw, and I'm cutting up these spider-looking creatures. By the way, Tricky, do not play Shadow Warrior 2. There are all kinds of spiders, like freaking crazy looking spiders with skulls and spines dragging around. Like it's awesome. But the humor is hilarious. Like they really, really lean into the fact that the guy's name is Wang. He's got like an encyclopedia essentially of things in the game and items and stuff. It's called the Wang-opedia. So what happens so far in the story is there is this girl you're sent to find and to protect, and she has been essentially possessed by some sort of demon, or so you think. And there's tons of demons in the game, so it's very on brand. But she, this mutual friend of both of yours that has you going to save her, tries to do some sort of spell to save her soul and puts her in your brain, so her soul is in your body with you. So she's basically like a Cortana, but with a bad attitude, and you guys don't get along. And it is hilarious. Like just the stuff that it's a little much actually, just how much they argue and how much trash they talk to each other. So the game it doesn't take itself serious. The combat is awesome. The writing is funny. Shadow Warrior 2, I highly recommend. And the reason why I went ahead and jumped into it is because I want to play Shadow Warrior 3. And since Sony thought it was a good idea to give it to me for free instead of making me buy it, I'm like, well, hey, I better take advantage of that. So, and from what I've read, Shadow Warrior 2 takes about 7.5 hours to beat. Again, that's according to how long to beat. So that could be a total lie. It could be 15 hours for all I know. And then the Shadow Warrior 3 is coming in about 5.5 hours. Again, how long to beat is usually underestimates, in my opinion. So, but I figured those would be games I could knock out, this weekend, next weekend in my breaks. I too have been pledged to play some other games. So I'm going to be jumping into Final Fantasy VII Remake coming up soon. I have been promised that I will be playing Sleeping Dogs soon, and even got a hint of some Cyberpunk being thrown at me too. So we'll see what happens there. So the Patreon pledges, yeah, I know. The Patreon pledges are coming in, and they're hot. So I figured in between some of these huge games that I'm getting ready to have to play, I'd knock out a couple short ones. And once I'm done with my MLO, hopefully fingers crossed, hopefully next weekend, I'll be done with my MLO. Hopefully by the next time you guys hear from me, I will be finished and completed my exam and passed. And I will be taking a much needed break to dive into some video games. And while I'm waiting on my license. So, and then when I'm licensed, I start my second job. So it's going to be very interesting. And so yeah, that's been me. That's really it. That's all I've been playing. I've been really hardcore about my studies and like not playing video games, not even having video games play themselves. So
you didn't even go see the Batman.
I didn't even go see the Batman, and my wife has offered more than once for me to go this weekend and watch it. But I'm trying to make sure that all of my free time, the only time I'm taking away from my studies was to do the podcast. And then the hour before the podcast, whenever I started Shadow Warrior, while I was waiting on the interview to start. So I've been very serious about it. And then again, of course, we did soccer and brunch. So I guess if you want to be technical.
Your Saturday was pretty open.
Yeah, I mean, I spent several hours in the books today, but usually I get some good gaming in. So this has not been the case as of late. So with all that being said, that's what we've been playing. Zach, you got our leaderboards ready to rock and roll?
No, but I can.
Oh, okay. Well, then tell you what, while you're bringing up the leaderboards, I will jump into the backlog beatdown. So this is like prime time for you guys to pass. Yeah. I should be, you guys should be kicking my butt right now. So, there we go. It just updated. So here we go. In first place, still CJ holding on to that lead with 33 points. We got Diego coming in hot with 28 points. Myself, Gareth, and JT all still tied at 26. Redbeard Rick coming in at 22. Joseph Priestley, 16. I'm styling on you, bro, at 14. We got Alex and Corey at 9. Noah and Zach at 8. We got James.
Ghost Rider.
Where are you at?
I'm at 10 now. I finished the Cold War campaign.
When did you post that?
I did. You even liked the post.
When did you do it? Come on, don't lie to me.
You got fired last weekend?
Whoa. JT's man in the sheet, bro. I'm just reading stats. So, we'll give you 10.
JT, you're almost fired.
Yeah, way to go, JT. Way to let us down, JT. Way to make me look stupid from my friends. So,
I'm your friend now?
I was talking about Joe.
Oh.
And Lo Wang from Shadow Warrior.
Dum.
We got James the Nerd with 7, Jared with 7, Tricky Mick with 7. I want to take a pause for a second. Have you guys noticed how Tricky, if he's not playing spam, he ain't getting point?
Facts.
Tricky and I have been on our year-long spam celibacy, and it's really hurting him. So I've basically quit playing games altogether, and he still can't catch me. So get good, scrub. We got.
I feel like you're throwing down the gauntlet at this point.
I mean, hey, bring it on. I'm basically giving you a pass to catch up with me, Tricky. So we got Homer with 6, Yield with 6, MZ with 5, James McCall with 3, T-Bird with 3, Jim with 2, Game Squat with 2, Kalai with 2, Levi and Spider Packs with 2. So there we go. I do want to give a special shout out to Redbeard Rick and James the Nerd. Them boys working together, knocking out Minecraft dungeons and popping a platinum trophy. Congratulations, James, on your first platinum. So it's really cool, man. Sitting down with the boys and playing games with them, like with my sons. And when they get their, when they got their first platinums and things like that, it was really awesome. So very cool. I love seeing that kind of stuff. So
yeah, that was kind of me today. So my daughter's been like enjoying roller skating, and so we took her to a roller skating rink that's local here that is only open for like family skate for 2 hours, and they have like a little arcade area there. And she was like, "Dad, can we go play games? Dad, I want to go play games. Can we go play games, Dad? Let's go play games, Dad."
Sweet.
We played so you know how like they got like the Jurassic Park and the Transformers, like where you sit down and you have like usually like a turret or something in front of you and you shoot at targets, kind of House of the Dead style.
Yeah.
So they had the Walking Dead one there, and that's what her and my wife actually played that together, and they were having a blast. I was like, well, here goes all of my money.
That's dope. Yeah, we were doing that with pinball today. Just friggin' eating dollar bills, playing some pinball.
Oh, we have a sick place in New Jersey. It's called Silver Balls, and it's like a pinball museum. And you can play. It's like an all-you-can-play place. Like you pay like a certain amount an hour. You just sit there and play all day.
Yeah, we have one of those here too. Except for it's the pinball machines you have to pay. I think it's 50 cents for to play. but all the arcade games are a flat price. You pay $10 to get in, and you can play from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. And it's like all like old 80s arcade games.
That's dope. So that's pretty cool. So, all right, you got the leaderboards brought up?
I do. All right, so we're going to start on the true achievement side this week. In first place is Sadik with 8,765 achievement points. The dude's been cranking out numbers. Last week, didn't he had like, I think it was like 30,000?
Something crazy. Yeah.
It was something crazy. It was the first
back.
5-digit one we had. And then in second place, Mr. Sony Pony 2U CJ with 7,640 achievement points.
It's a lot.
And then in third, the difference between first and fourth is substantial. In third place is I'm Styling on You, Bro, with 560 achievement points. And then yours truly in fourth place with 430 achievement points. And then Dump Liquor in third place with 320 achievement points.
Get it. Shout out Dump Liquor. Oh, and you know what? Happy birthday. Yeah, I meant to say that last week when you and I recorded. Dump Liquor and I share the same birthday. So, yeah, there's like an 11-year difference between us. But yeah, he and I share the same birthday. And what's crazy is my neighbor has the same birthday as well. And there's about almost a 20-year difference between me and him. So it was wild. Like all of a sudden I'm meeting all these people that have the same birthday as me. It's pretty crazy.
You want to know what's crazy though? Darrell is actually on the leaderboard this week. He's in 9th with 50 achievement points. No, for Injustice 2 was your last one.
Yeah, one Injustice fight as the Flash. It was one Injustice. Yeah, but yeah, definitely. And then Crossfire is the other one. Like, there's like 2 achievements for Crossfire. So
yeah, all right. Well, let's move on over to the True Trophies leaderboard. In first place, Mr. Affectatious Donk with 450 trophies. He is grinding out some Horizon Forbidden West right now.
Get it.
And then in second place, the Chosen Sigil with 72 trophies. I was trying to give him 3 extra trophies. And then in third place, the Loot Bros' own Mr. TMNT 84 with 59 trophies. We already know what he's been playing. Fourth place is Redbeard Rick with 38 trophies, and he is playing Final Fantasy VII. Good to see some change on the board instead of weird games that I have no idea what they are. And then in fifth place with 25 trophies is Gaz Davis 11.
Yeah, Gaz has been knocking out some cool stuff, and he was actually a guest on Trophy Horrors this past week, and he did a fantastic job. So
yeah, it was a very good episode. I enjoyed it as well.
That was a really good episode, and that was a 3-hour-long Loot Bros style episode of people having some great conversation. So,
and thankfully, Tricky didn't talk about pizza for another 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh, that was so amazing! That was one of the best episodes they've ever done, dude.
It really was because it's
was
personality.
I agree.
It was, and he got the actual genuine gut laugh that Yield and Alex had from his rant was awesome. It was such a genuine, awesome moment on their show, and I've been listening to that show for years. I've been a guest on it dozens of times, and I really enjoy those guys. And that, I swear, that was the most candid and genuine those guys have probably ever been on show that I've ever noticed. And it was such a freaking hilarious rant from Tricky, freaking out about pizza, which the whole time I was listening to it, I was working and I was like, oh my gosh, I want a Beanie Weenie pizza. I want to find and taste a Beanie Weenie pizza. So.
No, if you've never had one before, though, in all seriousness, if anybody in the world can find a pastrami pizza, 10 out of 10, super good.
Dang. So yeah, I told my wife after listening to that episode, because I listened to them in reverse order. I listened to the most recent one, the 3-hour-long one, and then immediately followed it up with the pizza rant episode. Just because of the nature of what I've been doing all week, I lost 2 employees. So I've been filling in in their area. Oh, dude, my life's been terrible. So, it's been awful. So, I've been filling in these different spots or whatever. So I've had a lot of podcast listening time. So I was just going down. What are the longest shows I've got? Let's go with it.
Bro, that new Sacred Symbols.
It was 4 hours, dude.
4 hours. I just finished it this morning, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is such a good episode."
It was so good. But I listened to the whole thing in one sitting.
Dude, I am totally back into Sacred Symbols. Like, I am 100% hooked again. To where I almost started listening to the Xbox podcast because I actually want to see Colin. I actually want to hear those guys talk about Xbox. I do.
It's not bad. I don't love Mr. Matty Plays. Like, he kind of gets on my nerves. But his co-host is from the Iron Lords podcast. His name's Cog. He's pretty cool. He's pretty interesting. I like him. So, but yeah, it's cool. Every now and again, Colin will go on there and do like a guest episode or like their Sacred Symbols or Defining Duke Plus or whatever. So, it's good. I quite enjoy that network, of podcasts that they do. So even the episodes of Knockback and stuff like that. So I mean, I'm all about their stuff. Then they've like, if you I hate to even pimp it on the show because it's conflict of interest, I guess. But their Patreon, you can get involved in their Patreon for $1 and get their bonus episodes and the interviews they're doing on Sacred Symbols Plus. Man,
Vince Janito one was great.
That was a good one. But they just had they just did one. It was like Christians in Gaming with the dude from was it Switchblade or the Christian Geek Network or whatever it is. Anyways, it was such a good episode, and it's crazy to me that Colin is the only person bringing in all these different diverse voices because the dude goes out and got the dude or chick or whatever she's going by from The Gamer, and had that person on for the just to kind of talk about video games journalism and how trash they are, and straight called them out for some of the ridiculous writing and stuff they've had and some of the blatant lies they've published. Had the freaking dude on talking about like China and communism and like Tencent and all their reach into the games industry. I mean, just like having some of the craziest, best interviews in podcasts right now, especially in gaming. So I've been
achievement.
Booyah! Wow.
No one cares.
So that's what I did, man. I listened to just some mad podcasts this week while working, and it was I needed those big episodes. So shout out to the Trophy Horse for 3 hours of good, interesting content. So that was good. So,
I was like, oh shit! The episode was good and Tricky was on it. Man, what the hell's going on?
So Joe, weren't you on there recently? Didn't I just?
I was on there right before you were.
Okay, yeah. So that's what I thought. I thought you were on there recently. So Zach, you're next up, bud. You got to get on there.
Once AEW actually doesn't have a show on Sundays, or if Tricky would actually hit me up before 20 minutes before he wants to record.
Yeah, he's notorious for that.
Hey, we're recording in 30 minutes. Do you want to record? You can record from your phone. It's okay.
Yeah, he does have it set up pretty good where he can record all the voices.
You can record from McDonald's.
Hey, man. Those are some of the best episodes. So
it's because Tricky's got his McDonald's and he's happy.
Well, as long as that ain't a spicy chicken nugget, because that almost killed him.
Ooh, that's fair. Those are so good, though.
I've never had one.
They're good. I don't know why they got rid of them. They're fired. McDonald's is fired. It's Shamrock Shake season 2, by the way.
McDonald's sucks.
If it was only Shamrock and McRib season at the same time.
What is a Shamrock Shake?
It's like a minty shake.
Ugh, yeah. Never mind. You lost me.
It's really good. No, you need to go have one.
I don't do mint anything.
You need to go have one. Change your life.
The only thing mint I do is my toothpaste and my mouthwash.
It will change your life.
Negative Ghost Rider. I can't be about that.
You know what? You said you'd give anything a try once. Go give it a try once. If you don't like it, you don't have to get it again.
Except for
you play Xbox, you give
and butt stuff. Those are my exceptions.
I mean, could I poop in the sock first?
Hey, speaking of poop socks, I'm glad you brought that up. So our good friend and my co-host for the Comic Cast, Josh Adams, is working on some great designs for our new merch store that will launch eventually, and we are going to have a poop sock shirt. So yes, JT, you're going to finally get what you wanted. I saw the rough outline for the poop sock, and I think it's going to be good.
So can you please send that to the group ASAP?
as soon as I have them, like the problem is Josh is doing so much work right now. Like he's working on this comic book for Legacy. He's working on his own comic book, and then every time you turn around, I'm finding bands and YouTubers and stuff that need an artist. So I'm constantly sending work his way. I'm like, bro, check out my boy Josh. Check out my boy Josh. Check out my boy Josh. So like he just did some amazing hand drawn artwork for the band Unworthy, some good friends of mine. And they have a song they just dropped called She Leads You to Hell or something like that.
But were they worthy of his work?
They were unworthy of his work because his work is better than anything we all do. Dude, the artwork is so freaking good. Like Josh is a monster. Like it's awesome. So I commissioned him for 5 Loot Bros logos and t-shirts. So
that's a lot. Jeez.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, that's it's gonna be good. It's gonna be really good stuff. And we're gonna have a nice, sweet Loot Bros merch store. And then hopefully I'll start seeing some of these guys rocking some new swag. And like I said before, when I first announced it, I'm gonna set the price as cheap as I can get it. Like we're not in this to make any money. This is strictly so that you guys can have cool stuff and that we can have cool stuff. And I would just highly encourage anyone and everyone to pick up a shirt, not because we'll make pennies off of it, literally pennies. Like when I set the store up, I'll actually break it down on the show. Like it'll most likely be less than $1 per shirt. But I just want like people to have cool things that are like, you know, fun stuff we've done on the show. So a Poop Sock Loot Bros t-shirt is happening. So it's gonna be freaking sick.
That's craptastic.
It is awesome. So you guys got anything you want to tackle or talk about before we get out of here? Because it's gonna be a very meaty show.
The Batman was a 9 out of 10.
This is where we jump into the interview section of the show, guys. This is where we jump into an interview with the Tales from the Podcast crew. A little bit of everything in this interview. There's a group of guys that was really awesome. They came on and we got to talk shop. So it was a really good conversation. I'm going to save all the Batman talk for our Patreon. There's about an hour's worth of just Batman conversation. So that is going to be a bonus episode on the Patreon that you will be able to receive at the $1 tier. So definitely we would highly recommend you guys go on there, check out the Patreon, check out all the fun stuff we got going. And here we go. Here comes the interview section of the show.
It's the Loot Bros podcast. We're going to talk about video games and mow your grass. Loot Bros podcast. We're going to talk about butts and slurp and penis. So stay.
All right, guys, I am here with Justin Bustle. Am I saying it right? Is it Bustle?
Yeah. You're like
All right,
the first person to get that right on the first try. I'm just going to go ahead and round of applause for you right away.
Thank you. Well, I won't say I've been practicing. All right, I'm just totally shot from the hip on that one. So I'm sitting here with Justin Bustle. I've got Ron. Am I saying this one right? Purtee?
No, yes. Not at all.
Purtee. Ron
Purtee.
There you go. Purtee.
Right. Well, I'm from the South, so Purtee is about as best as I can do. And then I got Chuckles McNasty here with me. And you guys are all working together on a brand new comic book. I've been teasing this on our show. We had Josh Nealis on a few weeks ago. And you guys are getting ready to launch Tales of Shock and Terror. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's actually already going on Kickstarter. Not only that, we're over 200% funded. We've already unlocked 3 stretch goals, and we're like this close to getting this 4th one opened up too.
Awesome. Yeah. So what I want to do is I kind of want to go around the group and have you guys introduce yourselves, kind of what you do in the content creation space aside from the comic, and then maybe even kind of let the audience know what you're doing as far as the comic book itself goes. So, Justin, why don't you start us off?
Okay, well, I'm a podcaster. I've done a little bit of everything. You can look me up on IMBD. You can check out my website at Tales from the Podcast for all of the links. I do a show about Tales from the Crypt. I also do another show where I just do horror films with Mr. Chuckles McNasty here. Those are the main things I like to cover. As far as the comic book, it was an idea I came up with a while ago and kind of waited for the right people. I ended up meeting Chuck and Ron and wanted them to do something with me. Obviously, I mean, we all get along pretty well. And, I made sure to really start bringing up the idea a lot more after I ended up meeting our artist, Drew Moreland, who I thought had some incredible talent. So I really wanted to push that further along. I got everybody on board for it. And, running a successful campaign, our good buddy Josh Nealis was able to come along and throw the Cutthroat Comics logo on there, make us part of the team with him as well. And it's been fun ever since. But yeah, that's I guess I should probably say that I wrote this one of the stories in there called Mask, which is violent to say the least.
So we're not talking about Jim Carrey Mask.
No, not at all. Maybe,
but that did start as a comic book, though.
Okay, so Cher Mask.
Yes, closer to that one.
Oh shit!
Eric Stoltz is somewhere kicking himself.
I call it the story of Ron Purtee.
Okay.
I don't know who Ron Purtee is, but that horsepower son of a bitch.
All right, well, Mr. Purdy, why don't you tell us what it is?
For fuck's sake. Anybody I know that's listening to this right now is like, why don't they just fucking say it right?
No, they're all sitting back going, you know what, Ron is kind of Purdy.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a whole other story. That's just that's for my OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/JB takes dicks.
If you actually, I got your Kickstarter right here. If you don't mind me kind of interjecting for just a second, if you scroll down about 3/4 of the way through, there is a tier that actually says Ron Purtee's OnlyFans. So you can actually click through the Kickstarter into that directly.
Right. And it's only pegging videos. It's crazy. And he's not doing the pegging. It's like, I mean, it's pegging.
Well, by definition, smartass, I wouldn't be doing the pegging since I have a penis.
Fair enough. But then I don't know why you had to put the sounding videos on there.
Okay, first off, you're talking about a radio show that nobody knows about, but people in your area.
First off, a lot of people know what sounding is.
I don't know what sounding is, but anyway. So my name is Ron Purtee.
Metal objects and shoving them down your pee hole to stretch your urethra,
and you're oddly obsessed with that.
I'm not the one making videos.
Anyway, my name is Ron, and I am a writer and a filmmaker and a performer, and I host the Ron Purtee Show. And I'm jack of trades, master of none bullshit. And in the comic, I wrote the segment called "Weather the Storm."
Very cool. All right, Mr. McNasty, what is it that you're bringing to the table?
Well, Chuck Nasty. I play in a band called Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat. I do podcasts. I write horror stories. And yeah, that's about all I do when it comes to this, I guess.
Very cool. So now I just kind of want to back up a little bit. So this is, if I'm not speaking out of turn here, this comic book that you guys are launching is in the same vein as like Tales from the Crypt. Short stories.
Yeah, it's basically strongly inspired by EC Comics and what they were doing. Most specifically between like 1950 and 1954.
All right, very cool. Now, I've got a handful of questions here. So I'm going to kind of bounce around. Our show is very conversational, so if we get off on a tangent, if we want to talk more about Mr. Purtee's OnlyFans, things like that, that's kind of how we do here on the show.
Fair enough. Can any of us ask questions about his OnlyFans?
For the record, I live in Wisconsin, where we eat people for fun. So just to keep that in the back of your head.
Right. So you could say that you're a swallower.
No, actually, I just get all the protein and then I spit.
Oh God, that's so disgusting. All right, so
I thought we were going to talk about the comic book.
OnlyFans aside, all right, let's talk about the comic, and then I want to transition to some Tales from the Crypt in general, and then Mr. McNasty, I want to talk about your band for a little bit because I was interested before, but now I'm zoned in. All right, I'm in a band as well. I freaking love music. All right,
Sweet.
As for myself, I'm a huge horror fan as well. Like I love horror movies. I used to be a huge Tales from the Crypt fan. I say used to be as in the fact that I just haven't watched it in a long time. And then in preparation for this conversation, I was like, man, I really want to watch Tales from the Crypt. So I watched Creep Show 2. I know it's not the same thing, but that's all I had access to. I don't own any of the content digitally. You can't stream it anywhere as far as I understand.
YouTube.
So YouTube actually has full episodes on there.
Yeah,
They're some of them aren't the best quality though, but
no.
there.
But if you follow my good friend John Acevedo, he has a channel on there called Crypttube. He is slowly but surely going through every episode from the beginning and doing a 4K restoration on every single episode. So he is not done yet, and it takes a long time to be able to take these and actually do a 4K restoration. But I mean, if you do want to watch them in good quality, you can. If not, you can pick up this little box set here.
I didn't see that coming.
For like $50.
Yeah, me either, Ron.
Got like a bunch of my comics.
He's got a shield over. So I actually believe my brother owns all of them physically. And we, back when Vudu first launched, you could do like a family account and connect your Vudus and all that stuff. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go. I know we have them. None of them, if they're there, I don't have access to them. Like, because there's a couple different companies out there that won't let the family members view, like Disney won't let you view Disney movies through Vudu if you share your accounts or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Well, everything's on Disney Plus now anyway.
Right.
There's no rights to do any streaming, so they probably had to take them off because of that more than likely before anything else.
I did a little bit of reading. That's what I've come up with. Is it seems like due to the rights or whatever. But so, anyways. Let's talk about the comic. That's what you guys are here for. We're trying to sell your comic. You obviously have your Kickstarter going. It seems like it's going very successful. I've listened to a couple other shows and segments where you've jumped on and you've been kind of pitching it. So if you don't mind, Justin, for the audience that has never heard of you, what's the elevator pitch for your book and why should they go to Kickstarter right now and jump on it?
Oh, well, I mean, first off, the main thing there is, You've basically said a lot of it. If you're a fan of Tales from the Crypt, if you're a fan of EC Comics, if you're a fan of, and I guess to put it in more modern kind of terms and everything, even stuff like Creep Show, which is 100% inspired by EC Comics. Anything that M. Night Shyamalan's done. I mean, the dude does all this stuff with twists. I mean, where did he get that from? The originators was EC Comics of doing all of that stuff. Basically, if you really take back almost any horror thing that you actually enjoy to some point, I guarantee it's probably been done in an EC comic book first. So if you enjoy any kind of horror, if you control things that kind of push the limits and, really kind of scare you and kind of freak you out and make you feel uneasy, then I strongly suggest checking out our Kickstarter of Tales and Shock and Terror and, pick up yourself like 1 to 10 copies.
I dig it. All right. So, in the conversation of launching this book, what made you decide to do your own comic? Like, obviously, you said you had this idea for a while. You're waiting to kind of meet the right group, the right team per se. Right. But like, what made you wake up and say, "All right, today's the day. I'm launching a comic book"?
Well, I mean, I've had the idea for a while. I know I've mentioned it to Chuck quite a long time ago. If he remembers at all, I'm not 100% sure on.
I do.
But I mean, if you know me and watch the show, you can tell, first off, I'm a huge fan of EC Comics, especially, just old horror comic books in general. So what it really took to get me to the point is like, okay, getting writers is kind of easy. I mean, even since I've launched this project, I've probably had about 10 people reach out to me about if I'm going to do another one and if they can be involved and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's about getting people you can trust and kind of be on the same page with. And, I got that for the most part with everybody involved. And I mean, It's basically exactly what I was looking for. But the main thing that was able to push it over the edge there is, trying to find an artist that is capable of doing the styles that I would like. So for like this EC style comic book, one of the big draws, especially with the way Drew did a lot of the stuff, is, and after meeting her and seeing the way she draws, I mean that's what really pushed it over. But I mean, her hand drawn grittiness of it, and just like the realism behind a lot of it was just exactly what I was looking for. So as soon as I met her and saw her artwork and talked to her about it, I mean, it was done. I talked to her. I'm not going to say I convinced her to do it. I mean, it really wasn't that hard. She was 100% on board when I explained it to her. So, I mean, it was just a really, really good meeting, and it turned out to be beneficial for everybody involved.
For sure.
Sweet. All right, Mr. Purtee, how did you get involved in on this?
He asked. It was really that simple. Because I'm gonna be very upfront about everything. I'm not the biggest Tales from the Crypt fan. I didn't get into it growing up. I would watch it when it was on because I'm older than these two. And so enough that, I was cognizant of what was going on when it first aired on HBO, but I never had HBO. I didn't have a black box or anything. But I've been a horror fan for a long time. So it's just kind of goes in the vein, I suppose, of,
Now, you and I were, kind of chatting before the show. So you are a filmmaker.
Yes.
And you said you're a writer.
Yes.
So what are some other works that you've been a part of that you've done?
Oh, geez. I'm the guy behind the Social Media Massacre series, Becoming Undead. Part 3 will be coming out this summer. What else? Nightmare, which is a story, was essentially a Twilight Zone episode ripoff. And I'm very open about it. It was the Terror at 20,000 Feet episode, if I remember the name, with William Shatner. It's on the wing. That one. And except we did it with a clown on my dad's front lawn. And trust me, if you're listening to this, go to YouTube, type in The Honk Chop, and you will not regret it. What else have I done? Oh God. Just all sorts of stuff. I just put my last film was back in December of 2020 called Who's Gonna Watch You Die, which is the farthest from horror as you can get, I suppose. But yeah, so there's all sorts of stuff. They're mainly short form. There is one feature out that's on the Blu-ray that I put out called Imposter. But other than that, I got some stuff coming up. So
very cool. Very cool. All right, rounding it out, Mr. McNasty, how did you get involved in this project?
Well, just from being on the podcast with JB on Tales from the Podcast last 2G1C, he had brought up, like you said, the idea of having a comic book out for a long time, and he mentioned it. After not mentioning it for a while, he mentioned it again, and then like 2 or 3 days later, he was like, "Hey, so we're gonna do this. This is like gonna be a for sure thing." And I was like, "All right, cool. Get published." I've got tons of stories I've written. I've never been published before. I've got 2 like novels I've written, never been published. So this is kind of cool that one of my stories actually gets like published in a way.
Awesome.
But yeah, he was like, "You want to be a part of it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to. This would be could. It's something I've always wanted to kind of do." So
very cool. Are you a writer by trade, or is it just something you do as a hobby?
I would say I'm a writer by trade.
Okay.
I'm not tooting my own horn, but I'm not too bad at writing.
Toot toot.
Well, that's why you guys are here. You're here to toot your horns. You know what I'm saying? You're here to sell your stuff and let everybody know how great you are at what you're doing. And right. So keeping it in on the comic book stuff for right now. Have you guys, and Justin, you can start us off with this. Has it been difficult to, obviously you're working with Cutthroat Comics. We had Josh on the show.
Right.
Has it been difficult to get started and get this going, or has it been like way wild, like just happening really super fast and really cool?
Well, there's just a lot of different aspects of it and everything. I guess to pull the curtain back a little bit, like, I guess to be honest,
Excuse me for 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. My bad.
And this isn't anything against anybody else, but like I'm certain it was probably a lot easier for everybody else involved with it. But Drew, I mean, she did the artwork and everything, but like after that, I had to go through and make the Kickstarter, get it all approved, get everything on there, all the images down, go and take the images after they were done, resize them to the correct sizes, fill them up, kind of square them off so they'd look good on pages. Because the comic book itself is actually done. It's ready to print. Basically after writing everybody's short stories and everything, all I've asked everybody else to do is just share it around and try to get sales. So I've tried to make it as easy as possible for everybody else involved. And I've kind of just been pushing it like crazy. I've probably done about 20 to 25 shows in the last 2 weeks just promoting it. And I mean, I have no intention of stopping. And, as far as any like real challenges and everything with it, though, I mean, the biggest challenge is just like trying to keep the sales going. The start of the Kickstarter was amazing. We were funded within less than a day. And I mean, we're almost like, I think at the moment, we probably are getting really, really close to 300%. I'm checking it as we...
I've actually got it brought up right now. So...
Oh, does it tell you yeah, we're at 258%.
It took off quicker than I thought it was going to. I mean, it's pleasantly.
Yeah. So it's definitely not bad. It's hard to keep the momentum going, but I mean, as long as everyone's continuously kind of pushing it and trying to get people to buy it and bribing their family members and trying to blackmail people into it, I mean, we're going to do good.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Well, I kind of want to focus on that for a little bit because like we've had on the show, we've had indie game devs on, we've had comic book guys on. Right before we had Josh on, we had another comic book company that was launching called Legacy Comics. I do a comic book show as well, and we haven't done an episode in a while because my co-host is a comic book artist launching his own book, and he is doing a one-shot for Legacy. So I kind of want to again focus on the getting started process because we interact with a lot of people in our group, and when there's a lot of creatives kind of coming in and out, and creative people are always looking for an outlet, but sometimes get roadblocked because they don't know how to get started, or they don't know if the Google search they did that showed them a way of doing things is the way of doing things. If you had, and I will go around the table on this one, do you guys have any advice for creatives, whether it be comic book artists, writers, podcasters, musicians, whatever, on just how to get started or an encouragement for them when they get started with their projects?
Just do it. The reality of it is you're going to suck at the beginning, but you're going to find your footing along the way. And the only way to get the process started is to literally start it. You're not going to be good no matter what you do right away, but the more you do it, you find your footing, you get better along with it. And to me, the best advice you can have is just put something out, get some feedback, tweak it a little bit.
Twerk it. The first thing though, like you had to say fuck it, because being a creative type in any way, shape, or form is a blessing as well as a curse.
Right. You can't give a fuck about what anybody else thinks either. You can take their advice, but realistically, it's about what you want to do too. Yeah.
I mean, I've almost quit fucking playing music. Like I said, I'm done. Like, after this band breaks up or whatever, I'm done. Man, I'm going to be a 60, 70-year-old guy, hopefully, going to metal shows and hopefully still playing them, Just say fuck it.
We're coming back to that. All right. So we're going to put a pin in that one. What about you, Ron? Now you do all kinds of different creative stuff. So what would
I would say when it comes to filmmaking, I would say go out and do it. But there are so many people who try to make movies and they just do such shitty jobs, and they use like actual footage from stuff that they shouldn't be using in their stuff. And it's just like sometime. And I guess my biggest point of contention is know your limits. Go out and do it, but don't try and
don't push buttons yet.
Yeah, wait until you are established in whatever field you're looking to get into before you decide to be a fucking dick.
Yeah.
That's, but know your limits creatively too, because you can't really expect to make something with a ton of CGI like that 3-hour epic or whatever right away, or you can't expect to write that 48 or 72 page graphic novel right away. You gotta baby steps, so know your limits.
Awesome. All right, I want to pivot a little bit. All right, so you guys got the book. You guys are all creatives. You're all, not. I thought I was getting a comic book writer on the show tonight, and then I get I got writers, I got podcasters, I got filmmakers, I got band members. So like tonight is a bit of a treat for me. So I'm pretty excited. So
it's like that little Russian doll. You just keep opening.
Yeah. Keep taking it all the way out. So I'm gonna.
I'm sorry. Can I say Russia?
I don't know. We might get set up for that.
Canceled. No.
Well, actually, if you just followed up with Orange Man Bad, and then I think you're okay.
If that's what gets me canceled, then people haven't been. If that's what gets me canceled, then people have not been paying any attention.
There you go. Well,
I just like the fact that he called us all a treat.
Well, hey,
it was nice.
I could have said a snack, but I was trying to keep it on the. All right, so you guys do all kinds of cool stuff. All right, so again, in typical Loot Bros fashion, we're going to pivot a little bit and go down a little bit of a rabbit hole. You guys are all podcasters, different shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Some more successful than others.
Well, who by a show of hands, who would be the least successful in the room? All right, there you go, Mr. All right, Ron, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the shows that you've done? You said you're coming up on a big anniversary of podcast.
Yes, it's my 10th anniversary. How close are you to that, asshole?
How many years are consecutive, asshole?
I don't know. I don't think I pay any attention. But anyway,
anniversary means you did it for 10 years.
Hey, put your fucking dick away. Nobody's having a dick meletting contest. Christ almighty. Nobody likes looking at your...
I'm just going to call you out.
Well, fuck you. How about that? Let's have let's just burn out completely on the Loot Bros show. I have my 10-year coming up. I've had multiple times. I've had Peter Weller, the original RoboCop. I've had him on. Do you remember the show Wilfred?
I am not familiar with that one.
It was on FX. So it was like quite a few seasons, but okay. Elijah Wood and a guy dressed in a dog suit.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, I've had the guy who created the show on a couple of times. I've had cast members from Sons of Anarchy on. I've had some guests that I probably shouldn't have the right to have living in Podunk, Wisconsin. So, cool. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Mr. McNasty, what kind of podcasting have you dabbled in?
Well, before I was on Tell Us the Podcast.
No, you were right the first time.
I started a podcast a while back called Nasty Nation, where it's me. Like I interview band members from different bands, obviously, and I rant a lot. Whatever's going on and that is pissing me off, or if I feel like it needs to be spoken about. Like it's part of the one that I don't do as much as I used to. I also do Graveyard Talk with my buddy Whitman, which we talk about horror films and stuff. There's a common theme. And I'm on a newer one that just started called the Video Store Clerks, where it's just 4 dicks talking about horror movies and rambling about stupid shit. It's a lot of fun, actually.
Dude, my family owned a video store for a large majority of my adolescent life.
That's
cool.
It
was the greatest thing ever, dude. And my dad was such a horror buff. And it was like, dude, we're going to have like everything. And so at the time, I'm just kind of pulling from memory, we had like a bunch of old school horror stuff, things you'd expect, things maybe you wouldn't. But then like we had all the Faces of Death movies. At the time, we're talking mid 90s, late 90s or whatever. It was like, see, but see, like then no one had them. And the only thing you had within miles, several miles of our town was like a Hollywood Video and like a Blockbuster Video. So you would go to our place, Extreme Video, and that's where you would get all of your cool horror stuff. That's where I watched all the Tales from the Crypt stuff. That's where like we had like I remember Bordello of Blood came out and they sent us this huge like promotional package for it. We had posters all over the front of the building with it.
That's killer.
Dude, it was so awesome. And like that was like my parents got divorced when I was like 13, and my dad, like the way he dealt with it was we would work at the video store. You know, obviously after we got out of school, we go up there and we would watch movies at the video store, and then we'd go home and then watch horror movies at night, and then get up, go to school, rinse and repeat, and play horror video games. Like, so like when Resident Evil came out, it was like, boom, we were jumping in that together. And it was just such a cool thing. So you said, you know, brought up the video store clerks thing. I was like, that's such a huge part of like an instrumental to all of my interests, you know, because like that was.
Oh yeah, I get that.
Were you ever a Nintendo 64 fan?
Oh, 100%.
All right, so I got to talk about one of my favorite horror video games.
Let's do it.
Did you ever play Shadow Man?
Yes, they just remastered it for PS4. PS5.
I read the comic book.
Ooh,
I've got a couple of comics actually.
Dude, that was awesome.
That game is the fucking shit.
I actually worked in a video store too for like a month. The guy was like, when he hired me, he's like, "Don't think about making this a career." And then because he closed in a month, but but I was able to like rent whatever I wanted, and I met a local filmmaker who had been making horror films for like the past 5-6 years, and he actually did the documentary for Slumber Party Massacre, the one that's on like the triple, you know, that when you buy the box set and it has all 3 films, there's the documentary. He did that, and he still lives here in this town, so you know he's pulling a Robert Rodriguez and not leaving where he's from.
There you go. Yeah, dude, it was a blast. I tell this story on my show all the time. Like my brother and I, we had 2 CRT TVs hooked up, and we had the PlayStation 1 and the Nintendo 64. We had the disc copy of Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation and the cartridge copy of Resident Evil 2 on the Nintendo 64. And what we would do is we'd set up and we would like race each other to beat the game. But the disc PlayStation version had these god awful loading times. So like my only prayer would be that he would die and then have to start from the save so that I could catch up with him. But we would that's what we did. We played horror games. Shadow Man, when it came out, my dad picked it up for the store, and then anything that came in for the store, we would just go take it and run to the back.
You were the guinea pigs.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So like he would buy games. He would buy video games, and it was like they would spend weeks back there with us, and they would never hit the store. And then when they did, it was like, okay, we've already had our fun with it. So.
The cartridges were so used up, people couldn't get them to
play. Yeah, absolutely, man. It was a blast. So Justin, I want you, you do Tales from the Podcast, and then 2G1C is the other one.
Yeah, they're on the same channel, so it's pretty easy to find. So Tales from the Podcast is the one that I do, where it's just about Tales from the Crypt, and 2G1C is the one with Chuck Nasty here, and we talk about horror films. I've done other shows in the past, but I mean, as far as podcasting goes, like I keep it pretty sweet and simple. I work a lot as far as like my day job, so you know, I realistically don't have time to have a bunch of shows, but you know, I am consistent every single week, and I'm live every Friday at 10 p.m. So, you know, I keep it where it's a very consistent thing, and it's been consistent for over 4 years now. I mean, it's going strong, and you know, it's been great. That's for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, we've been doing the Loot Bros for 5 or 6 years. We took a year off somewhere pre-COVID, and actually one of our hosts went off to do the Midnight Monster Corner. So they do a show where they do, you know, they review and talk about old horror movies as well. And we've got a bunch of spinoff shows, man. We enjoy getting together with various people, talking junk, talking games, talking movies, comics, whatever. So
right.
All right. So I kind of want to transition a little bit into the Tales from the Crypt, because it seems like that's where a lot of the inspiration is for the book and obviously your shows. And it seems like you guys have all, at some point in time, crossed streams with some Tales from the Crypt. So why don't you guys go around and tell me, what are your favorite episodes of Tales from the Crypt?
Well, I mean, as far as me, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, Lower Birth is probably my all-time favorite. In fact, I have at the moment.
Show us.
Huh?
Go ahead and show us.
Yeah, all right, hold on.
You're gonna do it anyway.
Don't flex.
I will. Give me a moment because I mean.
Oh, don't stand up anymore if you're not wearing pants.
Oh, go fuck.
He warned you. He said he wasn't going to wear them.
Yeah. So I got 1 copy, 2 copy, 3 copies of that issue.
Aren't seeing is JB's wearing a large pink tutu.
Yeah, and he's got a huge boner right now.
Yes. So the Tales from the Crypt issue, Lower Birth, which is definitely one of my favorites. And if I'd have to put a second out there, I would definitely say that Fitting Punishment is also a close second for me. Which
awesome.
Very, very morbid tale.
Gotcha. All right, what about you, Ron?
I don't have a favorite episode because I'm not as well versed in the series as I should be. But I will say that I am a huge fan of Demon Knight.
Yeah, I like that one.
I'll get that.
Yeah.
So,
which is not based off of any comic book.
So what about you, Chuck?
Well, my favorite episode, that was the question, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And just, any favorite episode?
Yeah. My favorite episode, I've got a bunch. My favorite one though is Death of Some Salesman. It's the one that Tim Curry.
Just say it.
Salesmanship. But yeah, it's where he plays 3 different characters, a little podunk world, whatever you want to fucking call him. My neighbor is like 30 miles away. And they're all killing a bunch of like salesmen and stuff. And it's really great because Tim Curry is one of my favorite actors and cracks me up. Yeah. There's another one too. It's another favorite of mine. And I can never remember the fucking name of it. JB, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's the one with it's the one about the house that's haunted by the woman that killed a bunch of men, and it's got that the old TV host that's in it. He's playing a TV host. He's a piece of shit.
Oh God, what's that one called? Television Terror.
Okay, yeah. That was Morton Downey Jr. Morty Downey, yeah. That guy was a piece of shit in so many ways, but he was great in that episode. But yeah, those are my 2 favorites.
Awesome. That one is a really, really good.
That one used to freak me the fuck out as a kid too.
Yeah, that one's actually based off of Haunt of Fear 17, which I have that book as well.
I actually, episode wise, I was just thinking about it, and I don't remember the name of it, but I'm sure JB will just spit it out. But it's the one with Joe Pesci.
Oh yeah.
God. Is it Split Personality?
Yeah, where he plays the twin brothers.
Yeah, it's Split Personality, and that's oh man, I challenge somebody to look me go ahead and look it up on me, but I'm pretty sure that's Vault of Horror issue number 30.
We'll just go with you.
We're gonna go with you.
Yeah,
JB.
we'll take your word for that one.
Oh, I was kind of curious if I was right.
We're gonna say you are. You are.
For my, I think 11th birthday, my parents got me a cable box in my bedroom, which parents out there, 11-year-old boys don't need a cable box in their bedroom.
Right.
When, there's all kinds of trouble you can find yourself into. But
yeah,
I got HBO for a certain amount of time. It feels like forever in my mind. And I remember staying up late watching Tales from the Crypt. Dude, that crap used to creep me out so bad, but I freaking loved it.
What was your favorite episode?
So it's been so long since I've watched any of it. The things that stick out in my mind aren't episodes; they're the spinoff movies. And I don't know if it's just because I watched them so much later in life. Like I really enjoyed Demon Knight, but Bordello of Blood sticks in my head as probably the most.
Did you ever watch the other 3? The Ritual, 1972's Tales from the Crypt,
okay,
73's Vault of Horror.
I started the 72 one, Tales from the Crypt. I think it's actually on Tubi or something like that.
Yeah, it is.
But I didn't finish it, and that was recently, just kind of getting ready. I didn't watch that when I was younger.
Those are really good. They're really, really good.
So I've got it all brought up, in my little watch list to check out. But and what's funny is, and I wanted to transition to this one because at the time, and I don't know, I'm not versed enough in it to know if this is good or bad, but I remember Tales from the Hood, even more than I remember, direct episodes of Tales from the Crypt. So was Tales from the Hood like a parody spinoff, or was it actually directly inspired?
Well, I mean, it's obviously inspired, but it's
I wouldn't call it a parody. It was just
remember when they did Leprechaun in the Hood?
Yeah. I remember.
It's basically the Tales from the Crypt version.
So, and again, going back to the video store, my dad would get all of the B and C movies. Like that was like his favorite thing, you know. So,
how old are you?
I'm 37 as of a few days ago.
Okay. Well,
happy birthday.
Now, I have to ask you, this is a movie that I found in a VHS store a long time ago, and I was able to introduce Chuck Nasty to it. We reviewed it on the show, but I never found anybody who actually got to watch this one when it came out like I did. Did you ever see Pinocchio's Revenge?
No.
Oh.
Never seen it.
Oh, God. You don't know what you're missing.
I'm sure my father owns it. The dude has like rooms of films, like movies.
I'd say he probably does, especially if me and you were so close in age and you grew up at that time. I'd say if he's got all that old shit like that, I'd say he probably has a few copies of it.
I'm sure, because we were just talking the other day about like Jack Frost, those really awful snowman horror movies.
Yeah, we did that one.
He bought me one a little more recent. He was like, he gave me Dead Ant. He's like, son, you got to watch Dead Ant. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it. But
did you ever see Monstered?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh
one.
God!
See, it just makes me want to
watch, but it's about a turd instead of a snowman.
It just makes me want to watch Dead Snow.
Okay,
I love Dead Snow.
So, another one that kind of a film that stands out from that era were the Wishmaster films. Did you guys ever see Wishmaster?
Oh yes,
yeah.
God, dude.
Those were great.
The first two were really good. They kind of got weird and lower budget after that, but Wishmaster, the first one, was amazing.
Yeah.
What about the Night Flyer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's one. Again, just diving in preparation for this episode, I watched Creep Show 2, which I'm going to go back to that one here in a minute. Just trying to get my head. 3? I have not seen 3. I've never seen 3.
Don't.
It's terrible. Yeah. It's terrible.
It's entertaining, but it's so bad.
We reviewed all 3 of them. Remember that?
So
Chuck really has some really good things to say about number 3.
Oh yeah, I usually do.
Part 2 has one of my favorite stories, I guess. It's the one, I don't remember what it's called, but they were it's the kids that go out to the pond,
the lake.
to the lake, on the raft.
That's my favorite too.
Okay,
yeah.
So
it's the only one in that movie I like.
Dude, that same here, and it was so funny because watching that movie up to this, I was like, man, this is way worse than I remember. And then that came on, I was like, holy crap, because I didn't remember that was part of the Creep Show movie. I thought that was like some weird like The Thing spinoff, you know, and I just couldn't. I've seen so many movies over the years, and it's been so long since I've dabbled into some of these. I had completely forgotten. So like getting prepared to talk to you guys and just kind of being in that realm, I was like, holy crap, dude, I just found the raft episode. So good.
Oh yeah,
everyone loves that one.
Right.
Yeah,
let's be honest. Like, what we got the hitchhiker one. It's an old Chief Woodenhead.
I hate that one.
Speaking of hitchhikers, does anybody remember the movie The Hitcher?
Yes, Rutger Hauer is awesome.
When I went to way before the pandemic hit, I was at I want to say Days of the Dead, and somebody had a DVD copy of it, and it's the old one with the little pop top that you got with the cardboard and shit, and it's out of print. It's out of print, so I was like, I'm for $5, I'm definitely that movie was twisted as fuck.
Yeah, I like it
for HBO especially.
Yeah, I dig that movie.
Yeah, really, it's crazy that Tales from the Crypt is not on HBO Max. Like, it just seems like of all
the rights issues just got settled in court.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
the HBO doesn't really own it. They aired on HBO. I think it was owned by Warner Brothers at the time. It was held by Joel Silver Holdings. The rights just reverted back to the Gaines family about 3 to 4 months ago. So nobody really has the rights to stream it because multiple companies have the rights to the actual HBO series. But the Gaines family has the rights to the names and everything, not the likeness of the HBO Crypt Keeper. So, for instance, some people can't see HBO Crypt Keeper, comic book Crypt Keeper, and they can make something new with it, but they wouldn't be able to do anything else without having possibly like licensing out.
So wait, you said Warner Brothers owns it too?
They own part of it too.
Because Warner Brothers owns HBO, so you figure they could put it on HBO.
Other companies that have their hands in it as well.
When I was
it's not just
looking
made by
into
one
it,
company.
There's a
quite
couple
few
different
productions.
places in the UK that had rights to airing some versions
for
of it.
season
and there's
7.
there's censored versions that are owned by other companies, and it's a bit of a mess. So too much of a rabbit hole for me to dig in through when I was just wanted to watch the freaking show. And I couldn't even buy the episodes on Amazon, which is frustrating.
No. It's
But Twilight Zone's available on Netflix.
yeah, but it's just not as good.
Yeah, you're right. It's better.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to back up a little bit and let's kind of get back into, the reason why we're all here. All right. So,
Yes, let's talk about Chuck's band.
we're getting there. That's we're getting there.
That's right, brother.
We're getting there. So, working with Cutthroat Comics, how's that been working with Josh?
Oh, it's been great.
Good.
Like I've known Josh for quite a long time personally. I mean, I met him firsthand at a convention. He lives pretty close to me, so I mean, yeah, I definitely got lucky knowing that guy. That's for sure. And may I go ahead and also say that I am proud of that guy right now. He got his book funded in less than an hour yesterday for Turkey Sharks 2. It's on Kickstarter right now, and
That's awesome.
yeah. I think he's already unlocked a couple of the stretch goals already. He was getting really close to the next one, but
Yeah, I actually watched the episode that you guys did together yesterday, or the day before yesterday, whenever it went live on your page.
last night.
It was okay. So I watched it today while I was cooking dinner. I just had my iPad brought up with my headphones in, and that was pretty cool. Yeah, he was great, dude. Having him on the show again, having some similar interest also helped. But he actually hooked me up with copies of his books to read in preparation of talking with him.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
just the way that he formed his shared universe and then all culminates with Turkey Sharks was very, very cool, very well done. And I absolutely adore the different cover choices he has for the various books and the movie covers, parodies, I guess you say. But
Yeah.
Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. Yeah, and that Wildcats cover, when you guys brought that up, I was like, oh man, I had so many of those freaking books, dude.
Yeah, we got lucky that Tyler decided to go ahead and just show up on there too. That was definitely 100% unexpected.
Yeah, very
And Josh is a Green Bay Packer fan, so he's okay by me.
There you go.
Plus, and now this isn't a knock on these two, but I'm probably a bigger all over comic book fan than them.
Okay.
So having that connection with Josh also helped.
So let's talk comics for a little bit then. Just general comics, you know what I'm saying? You said you're an overall comic fan.
Yes.
Are you more of an indie guy, or do you like the big...
I'm
He
a
likes
big
the really gay Superman that just came out. That's his favorite.
All right, and he's the son of Superman. He's not Superman.
He is Superman. He holds the mantle.
Well, he's technically not even the original son of Superman. He's almost like a...
No, he's the son of Superman, but it's not our universe's Superman.
No, but he holds what mantle? What is he known as?
The son of Kal-El.
No, come on. You want to say
The books, I just bought a book today. It says the son of Kal-El.
Okay, that's the name of the comic. But I mean, come on, who is he?
Oh, for Christ's sake, who cares? Anyway,
Well, I'm just saying.
no, I'm more of a
that video you posted with you in the Superman outfit saying, Dean Cain, keep pegging.
Hey, Dean
Let
Cain,
him finish, JB.
I agree. That's Superman on screen. Ron was lucky to make that video with him.
Oh my God. So you're a DC guy, you said.
Am I? I don't know anymore.
You changed.
No,
Right
no,
here.
I am. I'm a DC guy. As I was growing up, I was big into Marvel because I felt like I needed to have some kind of connection to the books and the characters. And being the big kid, I was an outcast. So just like the X-Men, So okay, well there you go. But as you get older, I kind of connect more with the DC books because I want my heroes to be heroes. I want them to be a little bit better than I am. And Superman is my favorite. So,
And there's nothing wrong with that. Too much.
I'm a huge.
just don't name your kid after Superman. It will be okay.
Okay, I'm a huge
I know
Superman
somebody
fan,
who did that.
and I don't love the way he's been treated the past few years.
You mean in the Zack Snyder movies?
Oh, whoa! I'm I'm a huge Snyder fan.
Oh, and here I liked you.
Yes. Oh, dude. So we restore the Snyderverse in this house. We are all about the
Snyder's
Snyderverse.
from Wisconsin, and even we don't want him.
Oh no. So we call him Zaddy in this house. Like Zack Snyder is the freaking man. So like I haven't even
you call him Zaddy.
Yeah, we call
You're gonna change your tune when you see the Batman.
I want to see.
I hear it's good. I hear
it's amazing.
A lot of my buddies. See, I'm not watching it this weekend. I'm going to see it next weekend. I've got some more pressing things to do. You know what I'm saying? This show tonight is my reprieve from my duties. And next weekend I'm going to see it. But yeah, huge Batman fan. DC is a big deal in this house. So I'm a Marvel guy. I like Marvel stuff. I love the independent stuff. I love Image as well.
There's a couple indie titles I'll read. Like I'm a big fan of The Boys, and what a lot of people don't realize is that was an indie book. It's not. It was. In fact, if I remember correctly, I want to say Image had it for like 5 or 6 issues, but I'm probably wrong. But I know one publication had it for 5 or 6 issues, and then they dropped it, and then Boom picked it up, and then ran with it. Now look at it. So I think Dynamite had it, and then Boom picked it up, or something like that. But
how big of a fan are you of The Boys?
Shut up!
Just because I don't know the goddamn fucking publisher, Jesus Christ!
No,
that's not what I was joking about.
That's not what he's
joke more than anything.
All right, so
also, if you're into horror and in Image, check out Ice Cream Man.
Okay.
Is it based off the film?
No, it's not based off the film.
Well, it still looks pretty fun.
Do you guys? Any of you guys use Comixology by any chance?
No, actually,
for some stuff.
Are they still even doing it? Because didn't Comixology just get purchased out?
Yeah, they got bought out by Amazon.
Yeah. So I didn't know exactly how they.
I have stuff. I have stuff on there that I'm, like older stuff that is just too expensive to buy now.
So I use Comixology. They have some pretty interesting independent books that they're releasing that are Comixology originals. And it comes with your subscription service. It's only like $5 a month. So it's almost like dumb not to have it, especially like you said, for old stuff or things that you maybe don't have every issue of. And so I keep Comixology, but they grabbed Scott Snyder and Jock and a couple other guys to do some indie books. But Scott Snyder just did a series called Clear. And it's
I've heard about it. I haven't read it yet though.
Oh, it's so freaking good, man. It's like, I don't want to spoil it, but like the art changes in there based on like a certain thing that's happening in the universe. And so like one frame might be like, blues and grays and very mundane and whatever. And then like it'll split and it'll be like a early 1900s, 1800s Western. And then it'll split and be some kind of futuristic animal looking thing. And it all makes sense in the context of the story, but the art changes even inside the panels it is so cool. I mean, the story is really neat. It's a sci-fi story, but man, it's just the art and the art changes and the way those changes are lended to the, are able to happen because of the story. It's so freaking good. I think only 4 issues are up right now. Totally worth getting in on there. And he's got a horror book. It's called I Dream of Demons or something like that. I've got them downloaded, but I haven't read them yet. But really,
so
really
then
good.
I got to ask you 2 questions. Since you're a DC person, did you read Mr. Miracle?
I think I read like the first issue or 2.
You got to read the whole thing. It is so fucking good. Tom King and Mitch Gerads are my Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Not to take anything away from Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, but also, are you reading the Joe Hill DC horror books?
So I've got a couple of them. It's like, was it Basket of Heads?
Basket Full of Heads, and now they're currently doing Refrigerator Full of Heads.
Okay,
and then there's also Soul Plumber, which is done by the guys from last podcast on the left.
Okay, so
That's
the problem is I started buying all those issues physically, and then I missed a few issues. So I've got, you can't see it, but like in my recording area, I'll see if I can get it. I've got a couple short boxes here. On the other side, I've got a couple dozen more short boxes, and then my basement is just thousands. I mean, long boxes, thousands of books, and I've got just stacks of stuff over here to read that I'm like behind on. But if I miss an issue when I'm collecting something physically, I tend to just wait until it's all out digitally, or there's a trade, like the trade paperback or whatever, and then I'll grab it. So with the Joe Hill stuff, I have one or two of the collected runs for the first couple books they released, because there was like 3 or 4 books they were doing.
Yeah.
And I haven't got around to all.
My favorite though is they're doing like the DC zombie thing, Deceased, and I don't know if it was the first run or the second run where they had the movie parody covers.
Yes, yeah, the Conjuring and things like that.
The Nun they had.
Yeah, so I bought. Oh my gosh, dude, those variants were so cool. So I did the whole Deceased run, and then the Deceased.
They have a third one coming out with Tom Taylor, who's currently writing that one Son of Kal-El book. So.
Oh yeah, so there. But yeah, totally. Yeah, he's Tom Taylor. If he stays in his lane and stays away from the social political stuff, he is amazing. But when he gets on one of his kicks, like it's in his books and it's whatever, but then he's so arrogant. And
you know what though? The thing about that is you gotta. People say that a lot. You gotta remember though that he has to run it past an editor, and the editor has to okay it.
Oh, I know, but
so and for all we know, sometimes it might be passed down from on high. We need more social commentary in here. So
they're definitely doing that right now, and it's I think to the detriment overall. But,
well, it depends on who's doing the writing, because like Tom King can pull it off. But some lesser writers probably can't pull it off.
It gets very on the nose with some of those guys. And it's very much like, oh, okay, we see why you did this, because this is, whatever.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So what about you, McNasty? What kind of books and stuff do you like? What kind of?
I was always a fan. Like Batman, I was always a fan of. Punisher.
Oh, yes.
I like the human aspect of those characters.
Garth Ennis run is so good.
Right. And Spawn became like one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
Swamp Thing. And those are like the main ones. And then and Vampirella. I always liked her. But like a lot of random shit, I've just come across just weird comic books that are like, definitely adult oriented.
John Constantine got his start in Swamp Thing. He made his debut in Swamp Thing.
Yeah, I've got some of that shit too. Hellblazer. And yeah, like I as a kid, I really liked Flash and Hulk and X-Men and all that kind of shit. Ghost Rider. I did like some Superman.
Chuck actually sounded just like this when he was a kid too.
I really did. Yeah. I started smoking cigarettes when I was
about to say he was smoking a cigarette. Like, man, I really like this Flash. Hey, Mom, I need to change my diaper.
when I was born, they thought my mom's vagina was on fire, and I just popped out with a pack of Marlboros.
That tracks. That tracks.
Oh, my mom would kill me if she heard me say that. Like, hey, what's up, Toots?
Yeah, you're like the goon. You're like,
that's right. Yeah. Which is also a good comic book.
Yes, it is.
The Goon, yeah. But yeah, that's I Punisher and Batman were always my favorites before I got hooked on Spawn. Just like I said, the human aspect of them, because like I always like the idea of like there's like some vigilante going around and taking care of the fucking trash that needs to be taken out. And if we had more people like that in the world, we probably wouldn't have so many fucking problems.
There you go.
We don't need a Batman right now. We need a Punisher.
Yes,
we needed both of them.
Well,
okay, so the Grim Knight is what you're saying. We need the Grim Knight.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
We need some weird fucking amalgam like Dark Claw.
Yeah. Have you, Ron? Did you read any of the Batman Who Laughs stuff?
I was not a big fan of the death metal stuff.
The death metal got real weird.
Yeah, and so I have all the issues of Infinite Frontier, which is like coming right off that.
Right.
But I didn't read it. I just went online and saw the synopsis, and I'm like, okay, I'm caught up where I need to be, and that's all that matters.
Backing it up before that, you had Batman Who Laughs, which is the Joker Batman, the Jokerized Batman. And then from there, he discovered that he could pull from the multiverses. And there is, in the dark multiverse, there is a bad Batman for everything. So one of them is a Punisher Batman, essentially. It's called the Grim Knight. And it is what happens if Bruce Wayne picks up the gun that Joe Chill murdered his parents with and then kills Joe Chill. Like, where does that path take him? Bro, it's freaking phenomenal. And it's so cool. And the covers are obviously Batman strapped to the nines with every type of, you know what I'm saying, freaking gun you can get in.
That's the Batman that like that many people are just like, no, Batman's not supposed to be that way.
Oh, dude. So,
but I like the aspect of that shit. It's always like it's kind of like the what if comics.
Yes,
it's always kind of interesting. Like, what if, because I know that's Marvel, but
they're doing a new. It's not like it's not canon, but it's like an elsewhere type thing, origin story for Batman, where Batman was going to therapy, and his doctor was Dr. Hugo Strange. So, well, I mean, that could lead to some shit down the road because
that could be wild. Yeah.
So, but
if you ever get a wild hair, go just read the 6 or it ended up being 7 issues. Batman Who Laughs. This is all pre Death Metal, and then there's a couple one shots for the different Batman, like so the different crazy Batmans. Dude, it's some of the best stuff we've.
There's a Flash Batman. There's
the Red Death. Yeah. And then, like the Drowned Batman is awesome because
I'm so behind on all these kind of like comic books these days when it comes down. to
Chuck might actually like the dark metal stuff.
Yeah, totally. The death metal stuff gets real weird, but what's really cool is, and as a fan of,
is it called death metal?
Yeah, it's called death. So there was metal, and then there was death metal, and then they have a spinoff called speed metal. Yeah,
okay. and I'm intrigued.
And Demore Borgier did all of the soundtrack. I'm kidding.
Well, actually, Chino Marino from the Deftones did some of the soundtrack, and it's freaking.
I am a Deftones fan.
Oh my god!
Well, that's because Chino's the man.
Chino is the man, 100%.
Yeah.
So, Justin, I'm gonna get back to you in just a minute. I don't want you to feel like you're getting left out of there.
Oh no, it's entirely
sad in the corner over there.
No. I kind of actually hold a grudge against Marvel and DC because they're both piece of shit companies that tried to put EC Comics out of business because EC was outselling them. So they banned a bunch of words and created the comic book code. So realistically, Marvel and DC are just total pieces of shit.
Understandable. And I don't think I disagree with that. Unfortunately, they hold the keys to my 2 favorite properties. And, Batman, The Punisher, and Wolverine. Those are my...
Right. And they owe it all to EC Comics.
And, well, there's horror elements sprinkled into all of my favorite stuff. It all definitely...
Well, I would argue they don't owe everything to EC because,
EC kept the comic book
whoa.
alive.
Captain America, it was, and a lot of those books debuted before EC.
Sell a fucking thing in the 50s.
Superman came out in 1938.
Hey, Darrell, how you doing, bud?
Hey,
and look what happened to him now. But back in the 50s, EC was the only comic book that was selling. It kept the whole fucking industry alive. And why do you think Marvel and DC decided to team up and make this comic code and get rid of them?
DC and Marvel can't order a cup of coffee together.
Next on Springer, comic book edition.
On podcast who's
now I got to go back and watch now I got to go back and watch Guar on Jerry Springer. Remember that? That was awesome.
Oh yeah, El Duce from Mentors was on that episode too. Everybody ganged up on him.
Yep.
All right. So, as I promised, we're gonna come back to the band stuff. So, I like, dude. As soon as you said it, I was like, oh, this is where we're going here. So, you say you're in a band, and you've been in several bands. All right.
Right. Yeah.
What do you play? What do you do? What's the name of your band? All that stuff.
My band's called Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat. We're a 2-piece. Well, we've been told this a few times. So this is like our own, like, kind of, I don't know. We've been considered to be called atmospheric as fuck. We have black metal doom inspired stuff with a little bit of punk in there with, some, sludge, that kind of stuff. I play drums and do main vocals. Some of our recordings, I've played bass. I've played guitar. Because we have the stuff that we do live. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of recordings of those yet. And some of the stuff that we've just kind of released out there is like more noise, like black metal kind of shit. So
black metal's intent. You have to record it poorly. Like you're not supposed to be like well produced to be
right. Yeah. I mean, it's true. I mean,
you have to record it while you're burning down a church.
It really,
that has to be. I mean, we did it. I'm just kidding. We didn't.
So what's funny is like the origins of black metal. Like if you go down that rabbit hole, and it's like, it's crazy, dude. Like it's freaking insane.
Oh, dude, completely.
So, so you said you guys play live. So do you gig pretty often, or?
Before COVID happened, we were playing shows. Not too much, but we were trying to play at least at least 2 or 3 times a month there for a while. And COVID happened, slowed us way the fuck down, put us behind schedule on recording. And we played 3 shows since COVID first hit, and after things kind of cooled off, whatever. We've got a couple of shows coming up. One in New Haven, Indiana, and the other one in Louisville, Kentucky. And yeah, like we're hoping to plan something like we've never gone on tour. And we've made a lot of connections and we made a lot of friends, and we're hoping to get something special planned for, just maybe like a 4-day like run or something, and go play some different places. And
that's how we used to do it, man. Weekend warriors,
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like with us, it's like it's different because like we both have kids, and like he's got 2 kids that he gets. Like weekends are his time with his kid. My son is with me 24/7. So like we have to be. We have to agree on when we're playing shows. Obviously, we got to make sure we have sitters. We got to make sure this is going on. That all that kind of stuff. So like it goes weekends. A lot of the times, yeah, but if they're too close together, I mean, it's like another day better. Like it's it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Do like some score work too.
Yeah. We've scored a couple of different things. We scored an independent 15-minute film from my friend Scott Lake called Killing Time, and it's an interesting.
It's just 15 minutes of somebody smashing a clock with a hammer.
we would totally do some of that too, but no, it's an interesting little. I hope he puts it out here for too long, but yeah, a lot of weird sounds and shit. Little droney, that kind of thing.
Well, so I play guitar and produce in a Christian deathcore band.
Oh shit!
So yeah, and so
he's one of them.
Yeah, I am one of them. I'm one of those guys.
I just fuck with the man. Yeah,
I don't know how the two can meet,
dude. That was like my favorite thing to do live. Like it's been years since we played live. We ran hard from 2006 to 2013. We played 300 plus shows. We put ourselves on little short tours, 3 and 4, 5-day stretches. Opened for all of our favorite bands. Played some huge stages with some crazy cool, artists, whatever. But like my favorite thing to do was to book some hole in the wall bar and then get like, Luciferian deathcore, death metal bands, and us all play together. Because like, if you're doing it right, all right, as a Christian, you don't have to be some pompous douchebag to these other guys. But man, we would have some of the best shows and some of the craziest energy, playing with some of these guys who we are standing on. We're both sides of the coin. Yeah. And black metal bands, things like that. Like it's just, we had some incredible times, dude, playing with some bands. And so right now we're essentially a studio project.
What's the band?
Ninja Loot.
Okay.
Terrible name.
I'll check it out. My whole thing is one thing that, because we play, like I said, like primarily we're like a sludge band. We have like a Black Sabbath meets hardcore punk, the middle, little bit of that dark black metal thing in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And it's fun to play with other bands. We play with hardcore bands. We play with punk bands. We played with black metal bands. We play with, obviously other sludge bands and doom bands. And, that kind of makes it like, to me, I don't want to go to a show. That's one thing I can't fucking stand a lot of times. Unless I just happen to like every fucking band that happens to be on the bill. Because like, you go to a show and every band sounds the fucking same. And I'm just like, there's 4 of them. Great.
Yeah.
I resemble that remark being an emo kid from the mid 90s.
There you go.
Show me how you did that breakdown again.
I know, right? A step down breakdown. Here we go. We're going to play it, and we're playing halftime, and then we're going to play it again, and then the next.
That. Which I mean, I used to have a complete hatred for that kind of shit, but as I got older, I'm like, well, some shit's fucking heavy, and if it all sounds the same, I mean, we're all ripping off Tony Iommi anyway.
There you go.
So Sabbath, so whatever. But
dude,
I think that it's cool when bands play together that are different. I mean, it makes the night a little bit better for everybody. Because I mean, think about it. Like you go to a show and everybody sounds the same, and like honestly, you get bored.
Yep.
But if you have something that's a little different, where it's like, okay, well, here's this band that's kind of like slow and heavy, and then you got this band that's like fast and grindy, and you got this band that's fucking operatic. I don't fucking know.
Yep.
I've never been to a show like that. Like
I've played shows like that.
I don't go. To be fair, I don't go to a lot of metal shows. I'm not a big like He Is Legend is probably the heaviest band I'm into.
They are wild live. They are so wild live.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they're good too. I really enjoyed them back when they were a band. So yeah, we got.
Oh, they're still around.
Did they recently get back together?
They've put out like 3 albums in the past like 5-6 years.
Oh, really?
And they're working on a new one now.
It's definitely not as heavy as it used to be, though.
Well, and after I Am Hollywood, everything they put out, I feel never really got to that level of heavy for them.
Well, I think they might have matured
that one, though. I mean, I think Skylar's voice was great for a lot of that stuff. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I don't think he's ever going to be able to top I Am Hollywood, especially with those vocals. Like, he's just basically going to end up striving for that forever. And he's a great guy. He's a great musician and everything. But I mean, he put his best thing out pretty early.
See, well, that's all a matter of opinion.
No idea
because I think their last album might be their best.
I'm gonna have to go check it out because
it's called White Bat.
12, so that's very interesting. So
White Bat was a good song. Like, I'm not saying like some of the songs aren't as good, they put out some good ones with it, but they that album with I Am Hollywood was fucking killer.
It was
you
really
know what I mean? Like that's a CD you can listen to all the way through, and it's a hard accomplishment to do, and if you do it once, you're pretty much guaranteed you're not going to be able to do it again.
A lot of the albums that came out before their most recent one, they would have songs on there that are like 10-minute long grooves. There was a lot of that. But it's great stuff. Like, I would put them on while I'm doing dishes. And break dishes.
So I'm going to go see in October.
So metal.
I'm going to go see the band Hopes Fall. You guys ever listen to?
I know who they are. I
figured if you're in the He Is Legend camp somewhere, that Hopes Fall's in that same. Dude, I haven't seen those guys since they put out their first 2 Wings to Speak Of EP and their first. I'm talking like 2001 or something like that. So I get to go see those guys in October. And one of my good buddies who was in a band that toured all over, they're doing a reunion show. It's a Southern metal band, I think, with a little bit of post-hardcore. They're called
Maylene and the Sons of Disaster.
Like Maylene, but good. And I don't mean that as in like Maylene's bad, because I love Maylene. But
I actually think I do know that band, actually.
And what's funny is Skylar had to fill in for the singer when he got sick.
For Dallas. But Maylene, in the sense of, how Dallas's vocals in there are kind of like intentionally bad.
Right.
Like he throws this harsh Southern twang in there when it's almost unwarranted, but like it works. Embracing Goodbye, it's Southern metal, but it's very melodic. It's very post-hardcore as well. It's good. It's very good. But like one of the things I love about them is they'll throw like Tombstone quotes in the middle of their
like riffs. The movie Tombstone?
Yeah. So they're like, there's a line, all right.
What do you want on your pizza?
Yes.
Where he's like, well, skin that smoke wagon and see what happens. And then it's like,
have they put in I'll Be Your Huckleberry?
They didn't put that one in, but they did. There's a Batman quote about dancing with the devil in the pale moonlight. They in one of their songs too. So
classic.
Again, great bands. I love music, dude. I love music of all types. Like I play heavy music, but like I do rap rock music as well. I'm working on some music score for some video games. Like I just did some music for trailers to launch a comic book for a friend of mine, which I mentioned him earlier. So like I get like, I'm all about all of this stuff. So anytime I hear someone who plays, I just want to talk about it because like I love, and even backing it up, outside of just music, the creatives. You guys do all of my favorite things: movies, podcasts, music, comics. So like it's been an absolute blast to talk with you guys tonight and pick your brains and talk shop. So I hope that I hope it was at least halfway as enjoyable for you guys as it has been for me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've had a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we've already busted the hour mark, so I really try to be respectful of y'all's time. Keep it to an hour. So if you guys got anything else you want to add, anything you want to plug, anything you want to push, Justin, starting with you, man. Y'all go ahead and just, whatever, one final spiel for the listener.
Check out my podcast if you like. I don't really care if you do or don't. What I do care about is check out the Kickstarter, check out the comic book. That's what we're here to promote.
Awesome. All right, Ron.
Check out the Kickstarter for the comic book. Also check out the Indiegogo for Malvolia's Body Count. And check out my stuff over at UncleRonsDriveIn.com.
Sweet. All right, Mr. McNasty.
Yeah, well, this is the Kickstarter, man. Shit, want to make sure this shit goes perfect, and so far so good. So Kickstarter, of course, Tell Us in the Podcast, Last 2G1C, Nasty Nation, Graveyard Talk, them Video Store Clerks, all can be found on Facebook, Spotify, YouTube. Some of us on YouTube. Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube. A lot of fun videos on there. And we've got a couple of shows coming up, so you can go to our page on Facebook and see all that shit completely.
All right, guys. That was a really fun time. Had a great time with the normal Loot Bros podcast crew. Had a great time with the guys promoting their book. If you enjoyed this, do let us know. Patrons, you guys write in, let us know what you think. Anyone else on the free feeds, get into the Facebook group, shoot us an email, whatever way you normally get in contact with us on the Discord, all that good stuff. Let us know what you think. Coming up, we're going to have a couple indie game devs coming on, and then we're going to take a little bit of a break from the interviews. We're going to have some friends, other podcasters on to do the traditional show, but we're going to take a little break from the interviews. And I know some of you guys don't love the interviews every week after week after week, but we definitely want to keep the doors open for anybody in the creative space that's doing something that we think is cool. So thank you guys so much for checking everything out. Remember, rate, review, subscribe, go to the YouTube, go to the Patreon, all that good stuff. This song that I'm going to end the show with is Creator by my band Ninja Loot.
Is the Lord. He made us in His own image, and loving formed us from the dust. Behold the glory of the One who sits upon the throne. The Lord's, yet everything in it. For out of nothing He created all life. And it is alive, and everything in it. For out of nothing He created all life. So what shall we say? That men are without excuse for what's been made. God has revealed Himself. Without excuse, the Lord commands the valleys be cast down, the mountains rise, the deserts shine. Are you so question good? Your darkness ways, as if you made yourself. No man, you are right. And they say there is no